Good morning, good morning, good morning. I have some big breaking news coming out of the FBI headquarters for the United States. I'm going to be going over the warning that they have issued to Americans, as well as other big stories about Donald Trump, Biden, the upcoming election, and other major stories happening here in the United States and around the world. If you are joining me in the middle of the night, thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to go ahead and jump into today's middle of the night broadcast. The FBI is warning that Intel is predicting some kind of attack within the United States, similar to what happened at Moscow, Russia Music Hall. Democrats conspire to arrest Donald Trump for breaking his gag order, but polling experts say it will only help him win the presidential election. More illegals are found to have been flown into New York in the middle of the night by Biden and Alejandro Mayorkas, and top officials from the United Kingdom hold a private war meeting, not with Joe Biden, but with Donald Trump, begging the question, who does London believe will be president and running the country next year? Thank you guys so much for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps me out. So thank you so much. I'll be going over these big news stories tonight. And thank you again so much for joining me. Also, don't miss out on the interview I did earlier today with political consulting expert Dick Morris. It got incredible feedback, and I will link that at the end of this video. He's one of the very top people that Donald Trump listens to when it comes to getting reelected. Many right-leaning political pundits believe Judge Merchan of New York is laying a trap for Donald Trump. Behind the scenes, there has been talks of arresting Donald Trump in order to teach him a lesson. However, Biden and Democrats, private election polling teams are saying, whatever you do, do not arrest Donald Trump, even if he breaks the law when it comes to his gag order in the hush money trial, because it will only make him go higher in the polls, and he's already beating Joe Biden. Now, what do you think? Do you think that these guys want to arrest Donald Trump? Do you think that if this had nothing to do with an election, they would have arrested him and thrown his butt in jail long ago? Let me know over in the chat. I want to hear from you guys. So they're caught between a rock and a hard place. On the one hand, they hate Donald Trump so much they will break the law to send him to jail. On the other hand, they're directly reporting to Joe Biden, you will lose this election. And so they're saying, Department of Justice, do not arrest Donald Trump, whatever you do. Mayor Eric Adams of New York continues to place 100% of New York's illegal migrant crisis blame on Governor Greg Abbott of Texas. However, the New York Post just revealed that Joe Biden has again secretly flown 33,000 illegal immigrants into the city of New York. This puts 100% of the burden these people create on the taxpayers of New York. These flights were arranged by and approved by the Department of Homeland Security, which means Alejandro Mayorkas, according to the New York Post. Now, Biden and Mayorkas have together hurt the United States and increased the annual bill of caring for illegal immigrants to over $500 billion a year. To give you context, that's like 5 Russia-Ukraine wars every single year just to take care of illegal immigrants. Now, did you know that the US government has spent hundreds of billions of dollars on green energy subsidies, and the price of energy has only gone higher? Now, please, in the chat, tell me, has your natural gas bill, your oil bill, your electric bill gone down, or has it gone up? I know where I live, it's only gone higher. I swear it's doubled, in fact. So what's going on? Why is the White House lying to people that their energy bills have gone down, but really they've gone up? So the reality is, many people's bills have nearly doubled because gas drilling and fracking permits have slowed down. We are not getting oil directly from Russia anymore. They're routing it through India and then over to us. But energy has become more expensive. So I hope you will open your eyes to the fact that the Biden administration has given hundreds of billions of dollars to green energy subsidies, only to lie to us and say it's made energy more expensive. But my bills have gone up. My bills have absolutely gone up. So these guys are just lying to our faces. During a recent appearance on CBS News, Representative Alexandria Ocasio Cortez defended President Joe Biden's newly announced student loan plan, framing it as a source of hope for those it benefits. She highlighted that the plan could enable people to pursue their goals finally, to buy a house, to start a family, to travel abroad, or further their education. So, more student loan debt. Now, in response to taxpayers fronting the bill of this forgiveness, AOC stated, just a few years ago, waitress me would have benefited from it, but Congresswoman me will not. But that's okay. I'll take the knock if it means that people can get relief. Can you believe this lady? I mean, this is the same lady that says, I can't live off of $175,000 a year, even though she has no kids. It's insane. They're literally heaping this on taxpayers and future generations. And this was my favorite one. So that people could travel abroad. Really? You get student loan debt, but I don't get credit card relief debt. I don't get auto loan relief debt. I don't get mortgage relief. But oh, maybe you can travel to Europe. So crazy. All right, now under Biden's new plan, roughly 30 million people could be eligible for some form of relief, from low income households to people struggling to pay off loans due to interest. These are the type of people that Biden says he wants to help. However, what about those that chose not to go to college? These people are now, through taxes, going to pay for the people who went to college. So it's a real slap in the face. Now, I know that some of you here in my community, if this goes through, will benefit from that, but it doesn't mean that it's right, right? The government does not create any money. They have nothing to sell. They only steal money from you and me through taxation. And it wouldn't shock me if Biden stays president, if they try to raise taxes on all Americans, because he'll basically be a lame duck president for his last 4 years. In reality, we are in the final months running up to an election, and Biden is losing the younger vote. And so they are trying to buy votes. But even if you get that relief, do not vote Biden back in. Look at how expensive the rest of your life has become because of Joseph Robinette Biden. He is a horrible, horrible president. All right, now I think the government. Never mind. Anyway, a better solution would be, hey, we're going to stop charging you interest so that you can actually pay off your debt. And then they would bring all of that money back home to the government, and they would allow people to actually pay off their debt. It's the interest that they charge that makes it nearly impossible for people to actually get out of student loan debt. They enslave you through debt for the rest of your life, but now they need your vote. So, I mean, I used to do financial planning, retirement planning for 15 years. I know how difficult it is for people with student loan debt. So I get that. My heart goes out, but this is just vote buying. There's no other way around it. Representative Nancy Pelosi has branded former President Donald Trump as a liar after he claimed he believed the decision of abortion should be left to the states and not at the federal level. During an interview with MSNBC, Pelosi stated he's either stupid or he thinks the rest of us are stupid. He said he takes great pride in overturning Roe v. Wade. And then the way the press wrote it up cracked me up. Donald believes that the state, he doesn't believe anything. He believes in his political survival, and that's what he's trying to accommodate. So Nancy Pelosi thinks that Donald Trump is crazy for saying that states should be the one determining their abortion rules and not the federal government. Now, in response to Nancy Pelosi, Donald Trump stated, "You know, the Democrats are reeling when they have no response to my recent statement on abortion other than, he's only kidding, he will change it, or he won't do that, he'll do something else. I guess this means that we've won because they are so bad on everything else that this is the only issue they are focused on." That is true. Almost 30% of Democrat voters have admitted in anonymous polling that the only reason that they vote for a president is to keep abortion rights. So once again, Donald Trump is correct. Now, unfortunately, this truth has been very hard to digest, especially for former Vice President Mike Pence, who betrayed Donald Trump. Pence called his retreat a slap in the face and stated too many Republican politicians are all too ready to wash their hands of the battle for life. However much our Republican nominees or other candidates seek to marginalize the cause of life, I know pro-life Americans will never relent until they see the sanctity of life restored to the center of American law in every state in this country. But I don't know, who do you think is right? Pence wants to force Christian beliefs on everybody, and I'm a Christian, so I get what he's saying, but that is not the reality. Not everybody has the same beliefs or religious ideas, and so he is taking a very hard stance. And I believe Donald Trump knows that Republicans will lose every single time because for Democrats, this is a topic that they are rabid about, not just excited about, but they are rabid about it. So, but I don't really listen to Mike Pence because he betrayed the country and his president. Now, earlier today, the Capitol was flooded, invaded with anti-Israel protesters. They shut down the cafeteria and chanted, "You can't eat until Gaza eats." They refused to leave and refused to be quiet. About a dozen of them were arrested, and the rest were eventually moved out of the building. However, no charges, no label of insurrection, no jail time, no being locked in solitary confinement for 3 years with no trial date. These people weren't there for Trump. So police said, well, let's just be patient while they do whatever the hell they want in the Capitol. Such a double standard, right? Now, one of the reasons people in Gaza aren't eating is because Hamas won't allow the food trucks to come in. So they should probably be protesting that, but it doesn't fit with their narrative. Now, House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer is becoming increasingly frustrated with the Department of Justice for their refusal to release unredacted materials and audio recording from Special Counsel Robert Hur's investigation into President Biden's handling of classified documents. So Trump is being tried for having documents as a former president, but Vice President and Senator Biden, they were allowed to have it. Now, the Department of Justice is saying that Congress doesn't have the right to see those transcripts or to hear the audio tapes because they know that Biden is going to sound like an idiot and they don't want those tapes to leak. And so they are obstructing justice. The Department of Justice is obstructing justice. Now, while the DOJ has argued that they've provided a transcript, it was heavily redacted. And Republicans want the actual unedited recordings so that they can get the full picture of just how bad Joe Biden's mental health and memory really are. But Merrick Garland is covering for Joe Biden. Merrick Garland doesn't want you to know that Joe Biden is a bumbling idiot, that he is a weak old man with a poor memory. You can put that on paper, but to hear the tapes yourself, it would be irrefutable evidence that he is a weak old man with a poor memory. So they're blocking Republicans from getting access to that tape. Kevin says, when are you gonna get Donald Trump on your show? I would love to have Donald Trump on my show. I've had 4 presidential candidates on my show. Donald Trump is 100% invited to be on my show. If you know him, go ahead and put the message out there. I'd love to get him in front of 1.5 million people. So thank you so much for the super chat. I don't know if there was another one from before. If there was and I missed it, I apologize. It's hard to see all of them. By the way, let me say hello to some people. David, Sandy, Angela, Karen, Murphy. Hi, guys. All right. Okay, let's keep going. Lots of news here. Now, speaking of Joe Biden, remember the toxic train derailment disaster in Ohio that the government blew up, put forever chemicals everywhere, poisoned the groundwater, killed animals, made it impossible to farm, and then Joe Biden didn't show up for a year? Well, the railway company that's allegedly responsible has agreed to pay $600 million to the people of Palestine, Ohio. And the federal government is going to pay $0. So they instructed the train company to blow up the train and clear the tracks. It sent a mushroom cloud of smoke and poison into the air. And then they took zero responsibility, and Joe Biden didn't show up for a year. Ohio, I hope you're paying attention. I really hope you're paying attention. DOL the third, you're the best news YouTuber. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Hey, I really appreciate that. It's a lot of effort that goes into this, but I love you guys and I want you to know the truth. You know, I didn't used to pay attention to any of this. I just did retirement planning. I just help people get out of debt, understand their money, get financially educated. And then during the lockdown, my eyes were opened to our piece of crap government that steals our money, lies to us, poisons us, betrays us, gets us into endless wars. That's when my eyes were opened. Maybe let me know in the chat, when were your eyes opened? All right, now, despite being critical of Donald Trump in the past, David Cameron, the British Foreign Secretary, held a private meeting with Donald Trump in Mar-a-Lago. The primary agenda for Cameron's visit was to advocate for the release of more taxpayer money to Ukraine, which is currently stalled in the House of Representatives by Republicans that want to help Ukraine, but also want to know where the heck our money is going, where our weapons are going. But the Biden administration says there's no need for oversight. There's no need for an audit. So, this is really interesting. So let me finish this. Cameron emphasized that supporting Ukraine is crucial for the security of Europe and the United States. Despite Trump's skepticism about further U.S. financial assistance, the UK Foreign Office described the dialogue as productive. When Trump's critics are asking him for help, you already know it's not looking good for Joe Biden. But seriously, think about this for a second. Why would a top government official from the United Kingdom, an envoy sent directly from London, why would he be having private meetings about the future of the war with Donald Trump instead of Joe Biden? I want to hear from you guys in the chat. Think about that. Why is London having private meetings with Donald Trump instead of with Joe Biden? Kind of interesting, right? Okay, over in Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has surprised everyone but me by saying, actually, we're not going to pull out of southern Gaza. Now, I read international news, so I knew this was coming. I knew that he was just pandering to the United States and to Joe Biden. Netanyahu stated, "We are working constantly to attain our objective. First and foremost, the release of all of our hostages and achieving of total victory over Hamas. This victory requires entering Rafah and eliminating the terrorist battalions there. This will happen. There is a date. So, in simple terms, Netanyahu's main plan has not changed. He is not pulling out of Rafah, and he is not going to bow down to Biden. Now, why the sudden change of heart? I'll tell you why. Because even with all the pressure from the United States, from Joe Biden, from Jill Biden, from Nancy Pelosi, from Chuck Schumer, what happened is they said that they were going to pull out, and Hamas declared a victory, number one. And then number two, they said, we're not releasing a single hostage. And Netanyahu said, okay, screw you guys. We are going to come back in and we're going to blow this battalion to pieces. So that's why they are going back in. This is a hard one to cover, but that is the truth. Moverling 5. Wow, you're on fire tonight. Thank you. Oh man, I appreciate that. I'm fired up. I couldn't sleep tonight. I saw this FBI stuff. I said, man, I got to tell my community. This stuff is absolutely crazy. It's bonkers. Wow. Okay, Kevin, ask Vivek. He will get you, Trump. I will. I will try to get him on. I did 3 shows with Vivek, but now I can't get him to come back on. He says he's too busy. But that's a great idea. I will reach out to them. That would be awesome. Okay, going back now. Israel definitely has her hands full. Iran announced yesterday. This is scary. Iran's top leader of the Ayatollah announced yesterday that not a single Israeli embassy in the world is safe. That they are putting Israel on notice that Israel and Israeli bases around the world will be attacked. And that these attacks will come when you least expect and when we believe we will do the most damage to you. Now, again, this is according to the grand leader of the Ayatollah. So they are putting Israel on warning. We now better understand why the government of Brazil has been trying to strong-arm Elon Musk and Twitter. Last week, hundreds of thousands of Brazilians gathered to protest President Lula. However, that story wasn't shown on their news. Can you imagine like hundreds of thousands of people protesting in Washington, D.C., and not a single news network, left or right, covers the story? I mean, this gathering was insane. However, Twitter was the only place you could see the story, the photos, and the videos. It's the last social media and news group that didn't give in to bullying from the Lula presidency. They don't want the world, and especially the people of Brazil, to see just how angry Brazil is at their government. So kudos to you, Elon Musk, for exposing the truth. Absolutely exposing the truth. Sandy says, work in the medical field in Arizona, but moving to Tennessee, it's bad here. I was never in politics, but always aware how bad it got. It is bad. I know. It is. Thank you so much for the super chat. All right, now listen to this. In early March, during the annual Worldwide Threats congressional hearing, FBI Director Christopher Wray informed a Senate panel about the infiltration of dangerous individuals into the United States via the southern border. So the FBI in their congressional meeting told members of Congress, high-ranking members, we have been infiltrated and invaded by groups that wish to do us harm. Then an ABC News report referenced a U.S. intelligence bulletin indicating that radicals within the United States may be prompted to respond to ISIS's calls for similar attacks following the horrible terrorist attack at the concert hall in Moscow, Russia last month. Now, this new bulletin put out today raised concerns about potential lone wolf attacks targeting public venues in the United States. So the FBI is warning to be careful. that there may be ISIS cells already within the United States that have come across the southern border that will be carrying out attacks. I'm hoping and praying that doesn't happen, but this is a bulletin that the FBI put out today. So the government knows that the government allowed dangerous people to infiltrate and invade the United States through the southern border. They are already within the United States, and now we're being warned that large gatherings could be dangerous because there could be an attack similar to Moscow, Russia. We don't know who's voting in our elections. We don't know who's coming into the country. Thank you, Joe Biden. Thank you. Thank you for endangering all of us. Honestly, I don't know if this is real. I don't want to scare anybody, but this was a bulletin that the FBI put out today saying, we know terrorists are in the country. We know gangs are in the country, and we know that they wish to do us harm. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. You guys stay safe out there. I really hope that there's not something being orchestrated against us. But this was a big bulletin. I wanted to bring it to your attention. Also, this other news, I wanted to let you guys know about that. Let me say hi to you guys, and then I'm going to head to bed. Let me know in the comments really quickly. Are you still awake, or are you just waking up? Maybe write awake. Oh, well, let's see. How could I put this? Well, you just tell me. Are you guys awake? Or are you just waking up? I'm getting ready to go to bed. It's very, very late where I am. Awake, just woke up, awake. Okay, so we got some night owls like me. My wife and I are definitely night owls. Hi, Casey. I know she's waiting for me. So I'll go ahead and get off. 9:20, 2:10. Oh, wow. You guys are in a lot of different time zones. All right. Well, hey, thank you guys so much for stopping by. Thank you for supporting the channel. Please give this video a like because it helps me and because it tells YouTube to share this truth with other people like yourselves. Also, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 1.6 million amazing truth-seeking subscribers. Good night, everybody. Good night. I wish all of you a safe and happy day tomorrow. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you on the next video. Stay amazing.